Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Hope you're all enjoying your holiday weekend as we get closer to the end of 2015. Thank goodness. Me, personally, I'm hoping 2016 is a better year in WWE and the world of wrestling in general. Got your questions here today from twitter.com/AaronRift. And by the way, if you want me to answer questions on future videos, please direct them to @AaronRift, not the NoDQ Twitter account. I am answering questions specifically from the Aaron Rift Twitter account. So just wanted to throw that out there. And with that being said, let's get down to your questions today. First one comes from Ziggler is Money. Please answer in video. I think the best option for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is a match against a heel. And I'm not talking about Triple H. Enter Bray Wyatt. It's his time. As much as I would like to say Bray Wyatt, I think it's too little too late. I do agree with you that Roman Reigns should be up against a top heel. In a perfect world, that would be ideal. But WWE is anything but perfect. Now, if Bray Wyatt had been in a separate feud, he had been kept separate from Roman Reigns during 2015, then I would make an argument for that match at WrestleMania. But we already saw a Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt feud. We saw them go at it hell in the cell. So how do you top that? You just have a regular match at WrestleMania? It's just not going to work, in my opinion, Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns. I would like to see Roman Reigns against a top-level heel like a Triple H, but there's a very good possibility it'll end up being John Cena versus Roman Reigns or Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And with Brock Lesnar, it'll be similar to WrestleMania 31 with Brock Lesnar getting most of the cheers. And I think with Cena versus Reigns, it's hard to say how the fans would react. I mean, in one way, Cena might be the so-called heel we're looking for to get people to cheer for Roman Reigns, but that's not a guarantee. I mean, the fact that fans have been chanting for Cena during Roman Reigns matches, for all we know, at WrestleMania, if that match was to happen, fans would cheer for John Cena. But yes, to answer the question, it would be best for Roman Reigns to be up against a top heel, a credible heel that the fans really dislike and they want to cheer for Roman Reigns. But I will be shocked if that actually ends up happening at WrestleMania. Alright, this one comes from Jeremy Davis. Do you think we'll see a face Lesnar versus a heel Cesaro, possibly with the League of Nations backing? Please answer in video. I've been getting a lot of questions about Cesaro, people asking me what should happen with him, how he should be utilized when he comes back. 2 years in a row now, he's been voted the most underutilized Wrestler of the Year on the NoDQ.com Year-End Awards. Let me start off by saying, keep him as far away from the League of Nations as possible. I am really hoping that the League of Nations will be no more by the time Cesaro comes back. That's a great way to kill him off once and for all. Keep him away from that group. Now, as far as turning Cesaro heel, I'm not sure that that's the best idea. I think at this stage of the game, fans are going to be behind Cesaro no matter what he does. The fans respect the guy. He is an amazing athlete. Everybody knows it. Everyone loves the guy, and they consider him an underdog, given the fact that he hasn't been pushed to the top, despite the fact that people are constantly cheering for him, and he's getting the reactions, and he's just putting on amazing performances. I would not mind Brock Lesnar going back heel and then having Cesaro as a babyface be built up. Give Cesaro some major wins against top stars in WWE. Have him beat guys like Ambrose. Have him beat John Cena. Have him beat Bray Wyatt. Have him beat all these guys. And then finally, you build up Cesaro to face the heel Brock Lesnar. I think that that would be tremendous. And Cesaro could be elevated. Perhaps if Brock Lesnar is having his final match in WWE when his deal is up, you can have Cesaro be the one to send Lesnar packing, and that would help elevate Cesaro to a whole new level. That, I think, would be the best way to go with him. But I'm not holding my breath on that one. Let's just put it that way. Alright, this one comes from William Hardy. Could you see Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton if healthy at WrestleMania? Does not look like that is going to happen this year. I would say it's very unlikely because WWE is already starting to put together the WrestleMania card, and Randy Orton is not even close to being ready to come back, unless he comes back as some sort of a big shock. But apparently he's pretty banged up, and he's got a lot of issues physically. I would like to see Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. WrestleMania 33 might be too late, and if you had Brock Lesnar versus Cesaro, for instance, then when would you do Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton? I would not mind seeing that match whenever Orton comes back. If he comes back in the summer, do it at SummerSlam. If he comes back at Survivor Series, do it at Survivor Series. One way or another, I hope we do get to see that Lesnar versus Orton match. That would be a real shame if that match never took place. To me, it's a money match. It's an easy match to build up and hype. It's two big names going at it. I'm hoping it happens at some point before it's too late. Alright, this one comes from Eli Garcia. As wrestling fans, I feel we can identify a good match, but what really defines one? Cool spots, false finishes, please answer in video. I think you have to ask yourself, what is the match trying to accomplish? At the end of the day, every match should be to entertain people, but certain matches have a specific goal. If it's a hardcore match, you want all the cool spots with people going through tables and all that. You want chaos. If you're doing an Iron Man match, you want to be able to keep the fans invested in the entire match from start to finish. It's just a matter of what you're trying to accomplish with the match. If it's a ladder match, at that point you want to see all the cool spots, you want to see the stunt show, you want to see people taking bumps off ladders. Also, you have to ask, does a match advance a storyline? Sometimes it's not about all the crazy spots, but rather advancing the storyline and keeping people interested in what's going on. And sometimes you don't even need a lot of crazy spots or anything like that. You can have memorable, effective squash matches where a guy comes out there and beats somebody up in 2 minutes, because the goal is to get that guy over. So the match is accomplishing what it needs to accomplish without doing too much. So it's just a matter of trying to accomplish what you're setting out to do. Alright, this one comes from Nutty Rock Chick. Hey Aaron, do you think the Attitude Era created fans who are numbed and unappreciative to most spots? Please answer in video, thanks. I think Attitude Era fans are spoiled to a degree. I think Attitude Era fans during that time were used to WWE pushing the envelope, not just with the content. Everything was in excess. You had all the blood, you had all the tables being broken, you had guys taking crazy risks and Hell in a Cell matches, Mick Foley going off the top, the TLC matches, and now things are slowed down a lot, and I think in that regard, some fans are spoiled and cannot appreciate things being done at a slower pace. But on the other hand, I feel the creative juices were flowing during the Attitude Era, and now it's just not the same. So I can understand some fans being upset, but at the same time, you cannot have guys going off the Hell in a Cell constantly and taking all those crazy risks and just everything being done in excess. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Things are done best in moderation and picking the right moments to do something extreme. Alright, this one comes from $1. Should the WWE have a Divas ladder match or steel cage match in the near future? Please answer in video. Sure, why not? It's the Divas Revolution after all, and there's always a first for everything, so why not have a Divas steel cage match or a Divas ladder match? I think if the time comes that a Divas match headlines a main roster WWE pay-per-view, then that might be a good idea to help build up the pay-per-view and make the match all that more special and give WWE more of a reason to put that match on top. I mean, WWE might be hesitant about putting a Divas match in the main event spot, but if it's got a stipulation, if it's a steel cage match or a ladder match, and it's the first steel cage match or ladder match for the Divas in WWE history, then WWE might be more convinced to put that match in the main event spot and go all the way with it. So I'm all for it. If that means the Divas get a chance to be in the main event, then do it. Alright, this one comes from Ultimate Riff. Please answer in video. Since Sami Zayn and Finn Balor will probably be called up right after WrestleMania, should WWE keep them in NXT or could they be in the Rumble? They could be in the Rumble, but I think it would be better to just hold off on them until after WrestleMania. Actually, with Sami Zayn, I would like to see him back before WrestleMania because I think he's ready for the main roster, and I would love to see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania as one of the featured matches, even for the U.S. title or IC title, whichever title he's holding. IC title. Del Rio's the U.S. champion. I keep getting him mixed up, so yeah, that's my fault. My bad. Yeah, I would like to see Sami Zayn come up sooner. If Finn Balor is going to be on the main roster soon, if he's going to be on the main roster after WrestleMania, I'd rather just save him until WrestleMania. You know, anybody who shows up at the Royal Rumble from NXT, I think that should be the point when they are going to be on the main roster, not just come in for one match and then disappear for several more months. I'd like to see those guys come in when they're officially on the main roster. In general, I just think it would be better if you're going to have surprises at the Royal Rumble, bring back old names from the past, guys that you're only going to see one time. Because if you bring back somebody who is a younger star, people are going to want to see that guy on Raw and SmackDown on a regular basis. That's just my take on it. I mean, I would be fine with maybe 1 or 2 NXT guys showing up, but I would prefer it if they were showing up when they were going to be on the main roster as a full-time thing. Alright, this one comes from Josh himself. What were your thoughts on TNA's Feast or Fired matches? Garbage. Terrible idea. Why would TNA as a company produce a match where they would have to fire potentially one of their biggest stars? It makes no logical sense whatsoever. I thought it was a terrible idea, yet they kept doing it for years and years, and that's TNA for you. So that's really all I have to say about it. I thought it was a terrible concept. Alright, this one comes from Andrew. Do you see WWE doing another Nexus storyline with their current NXT guys after another called up, but actually not burying them? I do not see WWE doing a repeat of the Nexus storyline. I do not think it's a good idea. I would rather they did something completely different that we haven't seen before. I don't think WWE will do it, and I don't think they should do it. I think if you're going to bring up the NXT guys, you should bring them in one at a time as individuals. I think Finn Balor should come up as Finn Balor by himself. I think all these guys are best off just coming up as themselves rather than being put together in a large group. Yes, it did work with the Shield when you brought in the 3 guys as a group, but it's been done already. Nexus has been done already. The Shield has been done already. It's time to do something different and just stick to focusing on one guy at a time, bringing them up every couple of months, not bringing in too many guys at one time, because more than likely they're going to get lost in the shuffle. And I mentioned this in another video. You know, if you want to pair somebody like a Baron Corbin with somebody like a Samoa Joe or somebody else, like you want to bring in a tag team, 2 singles guys, bring them on the main roster as a tag team, that I would think I would be okay with, but no more than that. Don't bring in like 4 or 5 guys as a group. I think you would just end up with guys getting lost in the shuffle. Alright, this one comes from I'm Savaged, or XXVAGED, however you pronounce that. Hey Aaron, don't you think that Ryback is underrated? When I take a look at him, I ask myself, why is this guy not in the main event? I wouldn't really say he's underrated or overrated. He's a good performer. He's good at playing the role that he does. He plays the role of the tough guy well. I think WWE missed the opportunity with him in 2013. The way he was booked in the early part of the year when he came in, he was booked similar to Goldberg, where he came out there and destroyed people in squash matches. And going back to earlier, it was very effective. He went out there, beat people up, and he was starting to get over. So it was working out for him, but then they booked themselves into a corner by putting him in the title match with CM Punk when they wanted to keep Punk champion until the Royal Rumble so he could lose it to The Rock. That was a big mistake to book that match because Ryback was hot, and you should have kept him going like that when he was hot. Once he lost, he cooled off as an act, and I think that he's gone as far as he's going to go in WWE. I mean, the fans like him for the most part, especially kids, but it's not like he's one of the best performers in the company, and he's already lost some of his credibility, and it's hard to get that back once you lose it. So what else can be said? You know, I think he's a solid performer. I don't think he's great or anything. I don't think he's terrible either. Maybe he's not as terrible as some people like to say he is. I think overall, he's very solid. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe at youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video. And stay tuned this week for more editions of NoDQ&A video. See you then.